As you may have heard, the dictator of China visited the United States yesterday, and it went exactly how you would imagine. Our whole entire government bowed down to him. So let's dig in.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Starting, we have Xi coming to America, but why is this? This is because there is a yearly meeting with all of the billionaires. This is a meeting called APEC. Since everything we buy in America is made in China, Xi wants to show all the CEO billionaires who have not moved their companies to China that now is the perfect time to do so. This obviously wouldn't be good for America, but that's merely an afterthought, which is one of the most angering parts of the situation. As we discussed in my last episode, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, didn't just kowtow, but he fully bent down for Xi. He started this process by cleaning up his streets and by making them what they once were, a clean, beautiful place with no hobos on the street. He did this in one weekend, even though he had, quote, conversations about it in the past. For the past, I mean over the last 15 years. Because Xi said that he wanted to visit his state, this shows where his priorities were, and unsurprisingly, it's not America. We already talked about that situation, but what happened once he came? Well, a warm American welcome. It's like we had a lovely Chinese welcome with all of his flags, the Chinese Communist regime flags, not one American flag. I expected something wrong, but I didn't expect this. Joe Biden then went on to his speech on how drugs from China are the #1 killer in America, and he admits that it kills more people than guns. And then he says that AI is going to take over the world. Then he gets into what is and what is not useful by AI. And he had lots of gaffes in his speech, but that's just his regular voice, and that's just how he talks. But that's about it. Everything else was boring. It's sad that he looks like he is checking his notes and then rates off of his notes for all of the questions. I think the only good thing that resulted in this meeting was actually APEC putting in $100 million to actually get the squad members out of Congress. I mean, they should not be in Congress anymore. So they already said that they're going to put $100 million towards getting other people elected. So I think this is going to be really good for America, and it's actually going to put us in a place that we need to be. We need to be in a place that we don't have anti-Semites in the White House. We do not have people over here screaming, faking their own photographs in front of a parking lot just because you want an Instagram picture. You need to choose one or the other. Do you want to be an Instagram star or do you want to be a congressman? You can't have both. Okay, you cannot have it both ways. I mean, even though 2023 in the 21st century, it looks like anybody could just be anything. It's just not the reality. With that being said, we're going to be digging into the headlines of the week. We can't just pretend that nothing happened. That is what the media loves doing, and I refuse. As everyone can tell, I've been covering the conflict in Israel a lot because it's been at the top of the news for me. What makes me mad are the people that call for a ceasefire, but they do not have a solution for how that should come about. Yes, I agree that Hamas ceasefiring would be great, but how would that even happen? That's the question not many people answer. I'm direct in my questioning, and I'm very direct in my answers. Israel must protect herself, and America must help its allies. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's what brings me into a person that I respect tremendously, Candace Owens. I watch her show every single day, and I actually have her book right here. I am also a proud Karen, if you know what that means. Ever since the Israel conflict between Israel and Hamas started happening, she had a problem with it. She did say that she was a separationist, and she does not support any wars, but the last time I could remember, I don't actually remember her saying that Ukraine should stop the war. I really don't. I don't think that she ever said, Ukraine, you need to stop the war right now. Russia, you need to stop the aggression. Like, this never happened. Even the opposite never even happened. So it's just crazy that she's saying that she wants to be a separationist, but then she's going to pick and choose when she wants to be a separationist. Of course, all of us on the right don't like the Ukraine war. I mean, we can say that we don't want to fund it all day long, but that's a total different story. We can say that we don't want to fund the war in Israel, and Israel already has enough money to pay for its own bills. But also at the same exact time, we're allies with them. That's the only sovereign democracy in the Middle East, so we must protect them. We have an allyship with them, so there's no discussion about it. We're going to help them. But that's just what I'm confused about right there. but she's been tweeting out Bible verses about peace and love. Now, this might be seeming like a coincidence of her trying to say something without saying something, if you know what that means. All I know is that when you say that there needs to be peace during a time where there can't be because of how Hamas is, you can't get confused when people get mad. She just needs to say what she actually means at this point, because she has already said that Israel is committing genocide. Just say free Palestine at this point if you really want to free Palestine. If you don't want to say free Palestine at this point, I would just stop the random Bible verses then, because you're saying Bible verses about ceasefiring in that we should have peace and love. And then if you look at the situation that's unfolding around her, it's all about this situation. And then she tweets out a Bible verse. Of course, when you look at that tweet in a vacuum, it doesn't look like it's anything at this point. But then when you look at it in a greater sense of the sentence that you're tweeting out, and you put it into context with the rest of the stuff that's going on here, just like she just recently released her interview with Tucker Carlson, which I will be reacting to, because I like Tucker. I really respect Tucker. And I also really, really respect Candace Owens. I watched her for years and years, and she actually changed my mind about a lot of things. I respect her. We need to sit here and realize what's actually being said at the end of the day. And I actually did watch her podcast with somebody that is really pro-Israel, and I appreciate the other look that she has on this. I mean, for me, I love watching people having the opposite side of opinion. And yes, I do say that I hate the people that say that there needs to be a ceasefire, but then does not have a solution. That's only a small percentage of the people. Now, I don't think that she ever tweeted out what she actually thinks should happen and what her solution is, but if she did, I would stand corrected 100% of the time. I'm just going to try to come to an understanding here, and that's exactly what everybody should do. Everybody should just come to an understanding. This is exactly why when people get mad on Twitter, it's just a total different world. We need to take a step back and say, what's actually being said? What actually do I want to achieve in this? And what actually should happen in the Middle East here? The world would be a better place if Israel was here. The world would not be a better place if Israel was not here and Hamas took its place. We need to sit here and we need to think about that for a second. We also need to think about the fact that, like I said, Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. So if we got rid of the only democracy in the Middle East, what more do we have over there? We have nothing. We cannot go to the Taliban and ask them about anything. We cannot go to Palestine and ask them for anything. We can't. We can go to Israel and ask for their assistance in a war if we do have one in the future. It's a very hard time for a lot of people too, especially because of the fact that a lot of Jewish people in the community, I mean, I'm not Jewish, a lot of people in the Jewish community actually had people that were killed on October 7th. So when we sit here and we say, oh, well, there should be no repercussions done to Hamas, of course, that's not the best thing that we can be saying. And I'm not saying that she's the one saying that. She's saying that there should be a ceasefire. How can there be a ceasefire when the person that should have the ceasefire confronted or should be ceasefiring, the person that took the hostages, is not going to ceasefire? I mean, that's simply because of the fact that Hamas has no incentive at this point to ceasefire. Ceasefiring would just mean that they just lost the war and Hamas needs to step down. Hamas does not want to step down. Instead, they want to take more land, which is not going to happen. There's a lot of emotions in this situation. Stuff cannot be just boiled down to one sentence. Of course, I saw what Ben Shapiro said, and I really do hope that Candace Owens does not quit the Daily Wire. I hope that she does not get fired, and I hope that she and Ben Shapiro both just have a private conversation. That's what's needed here. A private conversation between the two of them. Nobody said that you need to agree on 100% of what Ben Shapiro is saying, and nobody is saying 100% you need to agree on what Candace Owens is saying. We can have different opinions, but when we start calling each other names, that's when it's like, okay, no, we can have different opinions here, but we don't want to go above and beyond over here and make everybody look bad for little to no reason, especially when we're invoking the Bible and Bible verses. But with that being said, we're going to dig into the headlines of the week. So we do have a article right here from the ABC or NBC Washington, Channel 4. So, one arrested after pro-Palestinian protesters clash with Capitol Police outside of DNC headquarters. Now, if you did not hear already, there was a big protest outside of DNC headquarters. This was actually, I mean, it wasn't that many people. It was 150 people. But now when you're outnumbered in the security of the event and Capitol Police have to come in, that's just a whole nother situation right there. You do not want Capitol Police to be coming in. especially because of the fact that we know that they do not have proper firearm safety regulations. They don't even care. You'll break every single rule in the book about firearm safety and you're going to get a golden medal. So that's exactly what happened on the Capitol on January 6th, 2021, when Capitol Police killed Ashley Babbitt. Also, their aim is not even that good anyway, because we did hear a couple stories about Ashley Biden, Joe Biden's daughter. But that's another story. I'm going to tease that story for later in the week here. So, like I said, one arrested after pro-Palestinian protesters clashed with Capitol Police outside of DNC headquarters. Now they're going straight to the DNC headquarters because of the fact that they've had enough here, I'm guessing. Let's actually see the video here.
And that breaking news tonight, a pro-Palestinian protest turns dangerous this evening. Capitol Police dressed in riot gear worked to keep back a crowd that was calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. It was a chaotic scene up on Capitol Hill tonight. Thanks for joining us, everybody, for News 4 at 11. I'm Jim Adley.
I'm Sean Yancey. Capitol Police and D.C. Police responded to Canal and Ivy Street Southeast on Capitol Hill. At one point, the protesters were actually blocking the entrance to the DNC headquarters, and police made at least one arrest. News 4's Walter Morris is live in front of the DNC tonight. So, Walter, what's the latest?
Well, Sean, you can see things have calmed down here, but it was a much different picture about an hour and a half ago. Now, in the last 30 minutes, police confirming 6 officers were injured. 1 person has been arrested, now facing charges for assaulting an officer. And up until a few moments ago, police actually had this street blocked off, but we want to show you what's left. Take a look at this. You can see all of these lights here on the ground at the entrance of the DNC. Those demonstrators bringing them here as they were calling for a ceasefire, but things taking a turn. Let's go to video so we can show you what we're talking about. Take a look at this. Now, one of those protesters sharing this cell phone video from their perspective. You can see Capitol Police officers pushing back demonstrators, and then as the camera turns, officers are seen pulling those protesters away from the door. Again, that's the entrance of the DNC headquarters just around the corner from the Capitol. Earlier this evening, Democratic leaders hosting a reception inside. Capitol Police say.
And that
Yeah,
break,
okay, so as you can tell, these people do not even know what they're doing. What is going to be the outcome in you going to the DNC headquarters and protesting and blocking the door? That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Nobody's going to listen to you. What you need to do is you need to reason. No, you do not have reason on your side. You want pro-Palestine. You are on the wrong side right now. Pro-Palestine. Pro-Palestine. Palestine is the regime that controls Hamas. Hamas created a massacre on October 7th that raped women, that massacred 1,200 Israeli people. You're on the wrong side here. So, of course, there's no reason on their side. Most Democrats already agree on this topic. I mean, you can even see, even the oldest people in the books, like Joe Biden already knows. Joe Biden already knows you need to support Israel. You have no choice. We're allies with Israel. You have little to no choice. Now, of course, these protesters think that they can get away with damaging officers and stuff like that, damaging actual Capitol gear. But I mean, sadly, that's not going to be the case, especially when it comes to actually pressing charges. So this is from the United States Capitol Police right here. The large group of illegal protesters near Canal Street and Ivy Street have cleared out, but USCP officers will stay on the scene out of an abundance for caution. Because, of course, they could just turn around and just come right back. Congressman Brad Sharon said that he was just evacuated from the DNC after pro-terrorists and anti-Israel protesters grew violent, pepper spraying police officers and attempting to break in the building. Sheen Custon, I was just evacuated from the DCCC office after the building was surrounded by protesters who had blocked all modes of ingress and egress. Grateful to Capitol Police for getting all the members of staff out safely. To the protesters, please do not do anything irresponsible. And I completely agree with that. So yeah, you can protest, but the thing is, once you turn violent, you want to just get out of the area. At first, I thought that it was AIPAC that actually pledged $100 million to remove American-hating anti-Israel squad members from Congress, but it was actually AIPAC, which is the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee. they're the ones that actually plan to spend $100 million in Democratic primaries to attempt to oust members of Congress that push progressive far-left policies and those who are pro-Hamas and anti-Israel. Among the representatives, AIPAC hopes to replace our Reps Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Alina Presley, and Cori Bush. Reps Jamal Bowman and Alad Omar have already been facing primary challenges, and AIPAC is reportedly aiding in the search for the challengers to their progressives. So yeah, people are saying, where can I donate? And I totally agree with this. Where can I donate? I mean, yeah, I completely agree. Where can you donate? Where can you donate? I don't know where you can donate. But I completely agree though. These people should be ousted because they're not fit for Congress in the United States. They're purely just there for political gain. They're there just for themselves. That's it. They're not there for the American people, and they should not be representing the American people whatsoever. So, with that being said, we did have another situation in the Capitol building. So, okay, so this was actually from Newsweek, which I found hilarious. So Kevin McCarthy actually reportedly shoves another Republican colleague, and it resulted in a chase. Now cue the music. So former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy appeared to shove and elbow one of his GOP colleagues on Tuesday afternoon, prompting a hallway chase in the chamber, according to a social media report. An NPR congressional correspondent detailed the incident on X, formerly Twitter, where she said that she was speaking with Representative Tim Burchett when the former House Speaker walked by with his detail and McCarthy shoved Burchett. Burchett lunged towards me. I thought it was a joke. It was not, and a chase ensued. Grizzles Road, the Tennessee Republican, then followed McCarthy down a hallway and then began yelling at him, asking why he hit him, according to Grizzlies. McCarthy replied, "I didn't elbow you in the back." Grizzlies reported, prompting Burchett to say, "You've got no guts. You did it so." The reporter said it right there. "What kind of chicken move is that? You're pathetic, man. You're so pathetic." So it sounds like we're 5 years old. In October, Burchett was one of 8 Republicans who voted to oust McCarthy. That's exactly why McCarthy is mad at him. But it's like, why are you going to wait so many months and then you're going to get back at him by elbowing him in front of the media? That's not making us look good, McCarthy. You need to keep your big boy pants on, and you need to actually grow up, because this is not how we act in Congress. You don't just shove somebody in and say, "Oops, I didn't do it," and then play the game of chicken, and then you're just running around Congress. How old are you? Okay, this is exactly it. I enjoyed Kevin McCarthy. He was not that bad. He was not a bad House Speaker. So for him to do this is just a low ball for him. He's better than this. He knows better. It's like you're talking to a child. Like, come on now. And then McCarthy goes to the media the day after and says, "No, I never shoved him." Yes, you did. Yes, you did. What would be the purpose in Burchett lying about that? And then the NPR journalist lying about that also. What would be the incentive for that? It just does not make any sense. So speaking of a clown show, right? Then Matt Gaetz files a formal House ethics complaint against Kevin McCarthy because of this incident. Now, he doesn't even know if the incident actually did occur, but he filed it anyway. So the ethics department was actually asked by the media, "What do you think about this situation? What do you think about Matt Gaetz actually filing the ethics complaint against Kevin McCarthy?" And then they responded, "Oh, actually, I found his ethics complaint right here. Chairman, guest, and ranking member Wild, it has come to my attention that this morning, November 14th, 2023, following a meeting at the House Republican Conference, Representative Kevin McCarthy assaulted Representative Tim Burchett in the hallways of the Capitol complex. The assault was witnessed by numerous people, including Clara Grisses, of NPR, who was interviewing Rep. Burchett at the time. For his part, Rep. Burchett has described the attack as a sucker punch and a clean shot in the kidney. Needless to say, the incident deserves immediate and swift investigation by the Ethics Committee. This Congress has been substantial increase in breaches of decorum, unlike anything we've seen since the pre-Civil War era. I myself have been a victim of outrageous conduct on the House floor as well, but nothing like an open and public assault on a member committed by another member. The rot starts at the top. While Rep. Burchett is within his rights to decline to press charges against Rep. McCarthy, your committee does have the duty to investigate branches of the abiding code of official conduct, whose first rule is that a member shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect the credibility on the House. This is a substantial evidence that Kevin McCarthy breached his duty. Given Rep. Burchett's comments on the matter and the statements of public witnesses, I request that the House Committee on Ethics to proceed immediately with the investigation onto the facts of today's incidents, including interviewing under oath the alleged assailant and assailee and any other witnesses. I swear or affirm that the foregoing facts in this complaint are true and correct to the best of my knowledge on this day, 14th day of November 2023, Matt Gaetz, Member of Congress. Now, of course, he posted this letter right here on his own website. So, I mean, the ethics committee just has enough of Matt Gaetz at this point, because now they have their own investigation into Matt Gaetz. So now they're going to stop the investigation into Matt Gaetz so then they can investigate Kevin McCarthy. I just don't know. I mean, it just sounds stupid to me. It just sounds stupid. It sounds petty. Matt Gaetz has a vendetta against Kevin McCarthy for the longest time, and I just don't get it. But with that being said, we're going to sum up this episode here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, please like and subscribe down below, because I do post new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.